Gentlemen, 2025 is at an end, and that means it's time for us to go through the 12 Sports Direct Premiership clubs and grade the last 12 months. David, I'm going to start with you. Let's start with Bangor, the Premiership new boys.
Well, we talked earlier offline about good, bad and ugly. For Bangor, it has been all good, Keith. They're currently 8th in the league, having played 19 games. They've accumulated 24 points. They've taken a big scalp of Coleraine already. They've got Linfield in the Irish Cup coming up to them. But what Lee Feeney has done this year has been absolutely phenomenal. From the IPL through to the Championship, now in the Premiership, and looking good.
Stephen, what about Ballymena United? It's been a mixed bag there.
Not for me, it hasn't. I think it's been ugly. Jim Irvine has lost his job. Obviously, Oran Kearney has come in. It'll be fascinating to see how Oran does at the showgrounds. But 2025 has been a shocking year. They've spent a lot of money. You know, I know loads of other teams have as well, but Ballymena have been pushing the boat out, bringing in big name players, and they simply haven't delivered. 2025 has been a shocker for them.
Carrick Rangers, well, it's a hard one to call. Stephen Baxter's come in there. He kept them up. They had that comprehensive victory over Anna in the playoffs. That really could have gone the other way, but they came in and they actually blew Anna away. They started this season superbly well. Great start. It looked like they could have a really fine campaign, but they've started to drift away and pick up poor results. It's hard to put a good, bad, or ugly on this one. I think I'm going to have to say bad, because overall, I'm not quite sure how they're going to go in 2026, and I think they could be pulled into a relegation battle. David, what about Cliftonville?
I've got to say good. Currently 5th in the league, having played 17 games, 28 points on the board. They won the League Cup last year. They lost in the Irish Cup, but they were the first team to qualify for Europe after finishing 7th in the league. They beat Glentoran away, they beat Coleraine away, which was absolutely amazing after the disappointment of losing the Irish Cup. So for what Cliftonville have done and are doing under Jim Magilton is nothing but good.
Stephen, Coleraine, what a year it's been. 2025 has been a remarkable year at the showgrounds.
They've been the club to watch, haven't they? Because of the signings they have made. You know, it would take me all day to go through them, but let's just mention a couple. Joel Cooper and Will Patching. God, I love watching those two. And of course, there's been changes in the managerial department. Dean Shields has left. Oran Kearney left as sporting director, and in came Rory Higgins. And Coleraine obviously are now challenging for their only the second league title in their history. Good, bad or ugly? It's not been ugly. It's probably been a mix between good and bad, if I'm being honest. But it could be great in 2026.
Crusaders, well, it's been a really difficult year from them. Declan Cadell obviously has a tough task there. Let's be honest, it's very clear that their budget has been cut back, and that's reflected in the playing staff. They have a very young squad. Crusaders seem to be very adept at picking up really good players. I mean, I think Fraser Bryden's an absolute smashing player. He's one of the best forwards in the Irish League so far, but it hasn't translated the results. Crusaders are losing a lot of games, and again, a little bit like Carrick, they're a team that could be drawn into a relegation battle. You kind of expect that for Carrick. You don't expect it for a club like Crusaders, so I'm going to have to say this is ugly. David, what about Dungannon Swifts? You've got all the easy ones.
Especially good. Record-making season. They finished an incredible 4th in the league last year, deservedly victorious in the Irish Cup. And after a challenging start to this season, where they lost the first 5 games, they've suddenly found themselves again. They're currently 6th on 28 points after 19 games. Rodney McAree is an absolute legend. His managerial career will go continually on the up. And his dad, Joseph, was 80 recently, and who started the whole ball rolling. So an especially good year for Dungannon Swifts.
Stephen, what about Glenavon? A year of change at Mournview Park.
Davey is getting all the good ones here, isn't he? Me and you are getting the shockers, Keith.
I've got to say it was Mr. Bailie that picked these for me.
Well, Glenavon have had a nightmare 2025. Last season didn't end particularly well, although to Paddy McLaughlin's credit, he did keep them up. But then under Paddy, they had a horrific start to the season. Couldn't get a win, couldn't get a point. Another change of manager at Mornview Park. McLaughlin went out. Michael O'Connor has come in. Now, to be fair to Michael, he's got a couple of results under his belt, but they're still bottom of the table, and it's a long way back. I don't know if they're going to stay up. It's looking doubtful. It's been an ugly 2025 for the Lurgan Blues.
I just don't know what to say about Glentoran anymore. They always seem to promise so much, and there have been spells during 2025. I'm thinking right at the start of the year when they got to they won the County Antrim Shield. That was a great moment, and at that point they looked like they could go on a real run in all three cup competitions because they were going well in the Irish Cup. Had a championship team in Bangor at the time in the quarterfinals, and they had a League Cup final, Bet McLean Cup final against Cliftonville, but they lost both those games. And in a way, it's felt like they haven't really recovered. Now they did again a little bit like Carrick we talked about earlier, had a good start to this season. But it's starting to teeter away. They're losing big games. They lost that game to Larne Friday night past. I'm not sure they're going to mount a title challenge. We talk about the 4-team title race. I suspect the Glens will probably drift away from that. Declan Devine's getting a little bit of criticism. I think that's a little bit unfair, but overall, I would probably have to go with bad for Glentoran for 2025. That feels a bit harsh, but I've only got 3 words I can pick from, so I'm gonna have to go with that. David, Larne.
Well, there's a bit of ugly in there, Keith.
Yeah.
And the ugly is around Nathan Rooney and that debacle. They have had to come to terms with the exit of Mr. Kenneth Bruce, who obviously did so much for them. But it's gone from ugly to being good. Gary Haverin eventually, confirmed as manager. I've got to say, result of the year for me was their 1-0 home win against Ghent in the European matches, which was absolutely superb. And having qualified for the group stages and the impact that had on their league campaign to actually end up finishing second last year was superb. Currently second on 42 points, having played 18 games. Started ugly, but has become good.
Stephen, Linfield, the champions.
Yeah, and because they were the champions, they've got to go into the good category. There's been some ugly hostility towards David Healy from some of the fans, and there has been, let's be honest, some bad performances. But in the main, it's been good because they won the title and they won it at a canter. They absolutely destroyed everyone else in terms of the championship race, won it by over 20 points. So you've got to say that was fantastic for them. In this season, it's touch and go whether they're going to win the title race because obviously you've got Coleraine and Larne up there as well. But overall, I think people at Linfield can be pretty satisfied with 2025. The one thing I would say is sooner or later, and preferably sooner from Linfield's perspective, they need to get into the group stages of European football.
Well, Portadown, you have to say it's been a good 2025 for them. They were promoted the season before. In that first year, I don't think it really matters who you are. You start off with the ambition of avoiding relegation, and they did that, and they did that relatively comfortably. Well, they did it very comfortably. This season, a little bit of a mixed bag in terms of results. They seem to go on runs where they're on, in the moment they're in a very good run with some great results. They had a little bit of a sticky spell before that, but overall you have to say it's been a good year for them. I suppose the question is, what does 2026 hold for Portadown? Because while Portadown have came from a really difficult time in the club's history overall, it's still a fan base that has ambition. They will not be satisfied with merely avoiding relegation for much longer. They will want to see more and pushing up the league, and maybe not this season, but the season after, looking towards top 6. So it's there's a lot to play for there at Portadown.
Now, I am going to check out if your predictions have been good, bad, or ugly, boys.
Dear. This is our Irish League in 60 seconds segment that David and I have been doing this season.
Yes.
I can feel ugly coming in my direction. Go ahead, give me the news.
I'm quietly confident.
So there's been 18 predictions from both of you.
Right.
David, you got 7 correct outcomes, but 0 correct scores. So, yeah, that's pretty ugly.
Not a single correct score.
And Keith, you did better, to be fair. Out of your 18 predictions, you got 10 correct outcomes and 4 correct scores. So I would say that was good for you, Keith. So Keith's the winner on this one, Davey.
In my defence, there's a bit of good because we were only ever given 60 seconds. And I've got to say, I tried to keep Keith on track in making sure that I gave his prediction within the 60 seconds. And that was my primary focus.
Your big downfall was constantly predicting that Ballymena United were going to win each week. That let you down several times.
It did. It was been pointed out to me, and I've got cards on the table. Support for Jim Irvin, support for Ballymena United. I had 7 brilliant years there. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and again, it was trying to give that support, but unfortunately, it didn't always work out.
And Keith, how does it feel beating one of the Irish League greats?
Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous.
He's going to come out and say, I'm absolutely delighted. Oh my goodness gracious me.